Hi, beautiful. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to start off by saying I apologize. I know that I've been MIA for a while now, and I do have a good reason. So let's explain. I have decided to get VSG, weight loss surgery. So that's the vertical sleeve. And my reasoning for this, now, anyone that is familiar with my channel, you've been here, you're an OG. I I should say, I started this channel doing plus size clothing hauls. So, as far as being a plus size beauty, I have no problem with it. Like, I'm happy with the way I look. Granted, there are some days where I'm like, or I feel like it's a struggle to find things to wear or things to fit. But overall, I'm happy when I look in the mirror. It's not like I hate myself or anything. Now, that being said, my lack of being here has been a lot because of my health, and let me explain that. So, in the end of 2022, I was feeling very sluggish, or I should say the mid to end, because it kind of started in the middle of the year, not at the very end. But I started feeling very sluggish, tired all the time. And it didn't matter how much sleep I got the night before. I could have two energy drinks and still feel like I just can't make it through the day. Like, literally, if I was working from home that day, because I work hybrid, so some days I'm in the office, some days I'm not. But if I was working from home that day, as soon as I clock out, I would be going to get in the bed. And of course, the same thing with, driving from the office. My race is to get in the bed. Which was bad. Not just, because I fell off this channel, but fell off in other things as well. Just cleaning up the house or, cooking dinner. I started relying on a lot of fast food and getting fast food for the kids because I just did not have the energy to do anything after working my 9 to 5. So in September of 22, I made a doctor's appointment, and it was time for my annual doctor's appointment anyway. So I had a talk with my doctor in this appointment and let her know how I had been feeling and that I was concerned about it because this is not the way I've always been. It's just, here lately, I just do not have the energy. So she did take my blood pressure and she said it read a little high. But then she started asking me a lot of questions as far as, do I snore? Do I have trouble sleeping? Has anyone ever told me that I stop breathing in my sleep? So these are things that of course, you don't really think about. But I did let her know that my kids would say that. Like, say if we were watching a movie in my room and I doze off, well, my kids would say I would be snoring and then all of a sudden I would stop and they wouldn't hear anything for like a minute. And so they would be worried, like looking at me, making sure I'm breathing, and then all of a sudden I would start snoring again. So my doctor said, okay, let's get you referred for a sleep study because that's what it sounds like. Also, because of my weight, that could be a lot, or I should say, that could be contributing to me having sleep apnea and also, of course, my blood pressure being high. So she did advise at that point that I start watching my diet, watching what I was consuming, trying to stay to the rim of the store or the outer limits of the store, if you've ever heard that before. So basically, the produce section, breads, what's around the edge? Breads, cheese, dairy, that type of thing, but not like the processed food that's all throughout the middle of the store. So that's what she was suggesting to do. And also, she did make a recommendation for me to go see a bariatric surgeon. So, all of these things were done at the end of 2022. And I actually wrote down the date. Okay, so I went for the sleep study in October of 2022. Then in November is when I went to see the bariatric surgeon. And the surgeon was like, yeah, you're a good candidate versus, based on your BMI, based on the health conditions that your doctor has noted. So I was a good candidate for it. So she went ahead, gave me my checklist at that time of different things that I needed to get done. So the sleep study results came back, I believe it may have been in November or later in November, or it was in December. I can't remember when they actually called me with the results, but I know it was after my bariatric surgeon appointment. So when they gave me the results and said, yeah, you definitely have sleep apnea, I kind of put off getting a CPAP machine for a little while just because I knew that I was going to get the bariatric surgery, which would, of course, eliminate having sleep apnea. So I put it off for a little while, but I was still sluggish, did not feel like doing anything, just awful. So I went ahead and called the sleep doctor. I forget the technical name, but I gave them the doctor's office a call and let them know, yes, I want to go ahead and order the CPAP machine. So I got that ordered, went in to learn how to use it and all that stuff. And when I tell you, after I believe it was like a week or two of using the CPAP machine, because of course, when you first get it, you kind of have to adjust to it and, like how you're putting it on, making sure you're doing things right. And that takes some adjustment. Also, you have to sleep on your back. I am not a back sleeper. So I would, try to sleep on my side with it on. No, girl, the air would not be going through. So it was a struggle for like a week or week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks. But in the beginning, it was a struggle. Once I finally got it down and was able to reposition myself in my sleep and start sleeping on my back correctly, baby, it was a world of difference. Like my energy level came back up. And at first, I didn't really notice, I guess, that it came back up. I know that I was doing more stuff as far as cooking for my family, things like that. But for some reason, it didn't really click to me until one night. I was so tired that, because I guess I stayed up late or something, and I was so tired that I did not put the mask on when I went to sleep. And the next day, I felt the difference. Like I was tired again and sluggish. So I was like, okay, now I know this CPAP is doing its thing. Okay. So for anyone out there, if you are feeling different than you think you should be feeling, ask your doctor, talk to your doctor about it, because sometimes we may think, okay, maybe it's just age. I am getting up there. Maybe that's why my body is changing, but it could be underlining things that are going on that you don't know about, and things could get completely better if, one little adjustment, a medication change, or for me, the CPAP, and also started taking blood pressure medicine. So all of that made me feel a whole lot better. Okay, so fast forwarding with the bariatric checklist. So there are a lot of things that you have to get done And this varies by your surgeon and what things they require you to do. So for me, I did have to have a, GI tract x-ray, and that's like an x-ray of your stomach to, and I guess your intestines and all that, to make sure everything in there is okay. And that you have to drink like this white liquid. It's like this white thick liquid that you drink and it goes down and kind of coats everything so they can see it. It's pretty gross, but it wasn't like I was gagging. It was so gross. It was just, this is not something I would want to drink, but it wasn't too bad. As bad as I thought it would be. But you drink that and then they, put you behind the screen to x-ray you and all that. So that was one thing I had to do. The other was I had to take a class, and this was all online, so I didn't have to go in or anything, but this was an online class, and it took you through different modules, and at the end of each module, you would have a test that you would have to, of course, pass in order to move on to the next module. But that was pretty easy because all you're doing is like watching a few videos and then you take the test. So, it's just remembering what you just watched in the video. But with that, it would only give you, I think, one module. Oh goodness, I can't remember now. I think it was like one module every 2 weeks or something. It was spaced out, I guess, so people weren't trying to run through it in one day. And then, of course, by the time you get to your surgery, then you don't remember any of this stuff. So it kind of spaced it out for you. So with that, the class, it pretty much broke down, macros and getting in protein and the different vitamins that you would take after surgery, and how you would need to eat for the rest of your life after surgery. So it gave like an overview of everything when it came to the food portion of this new journey that you're on. Okay, so that, and there was one other thing, and I forget the name of this procedure. Did I write it down? I didn't write it down. So this other procedure that they did is basically, they put you under anesthesia. So you are out for it, but they're putting a camera down your throat to, again, check out everything down there, make sure everything is okay, before doing the surgery. So with that, I learned that I had a hiatal hernia. This is when your intestines start to basically push up into, no, your stomach. I'm messing it all up. This is when your stomach starts pushing up into your esophagus. So didn't know that was going on inside of me, but thankfully this is something that surgeons will fix at the time of your sleeve, if that's the procedure you're getting. So this is something they will fix at that time while they're in there. So glad to know that, because of course once I found out I had one, I'm on Google trying to figure out what it is, what can happen to me, is it bad, all of that. So it's not too bad. What it is, when that happens, is it does cause acid reflux, which I did know that I had that. Mine is not that bad though. So for me, it really just depends on what I eat. And I've learned, to stay away from certain foods and, not lay down too quick after I eat. So it's usually like stuff that has a lot of grease that will affect it, or, I can't think of what else. I know that it's grease and something else that used to affect it. Was it spicy food? No, it wasn't. It was cheese. And I guess it's dairy altogether, but mainly cheese. Like if I were to go to Qdoba and have the nachos, and of course that's a whole lot of cheese. Like you get the shredded cheese on there, you get the queso. So that's a lot of cheese right there. And that amount of cheese would affect it, not just, oh, I had a cheeseburger and there's some cheese on it. That's fine. But when it was a lot of dairy at one time, then it would affect it too. So I learned to, work around it pretty much, as far as to avoid certain things and knowing what time of day I could have these things. Because usually if I ate it early enough in the day, it wouldn't bother me. But if I ate something like that right before bed, yeah, I'm getting up in the middle of the night, throwing up or dry heaving. It was bad. So, I'm going to go over some of my well, not measurements, but just my weight as far as how it's been over this course of things. So my starting weight when I first went for my appointment in November of 22 to the bariatric surgeon was 271. And when I went for my pre-op appointment, which wasn't until December of this past year, so December of 23. Why was it that long? Okay, so because I had to go through, my checklist and getting all that done. Also, the blood pressure medicine that my doctor originally prescribed to me was making me go to the bathroom a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So with my job, I couldn't do that. Like, no, I can't get up every 5 minutes having to go pee. That's not okay. So switched to another medication. This one, it didn't seem to be helping my blood pressure lower, but it was upsetting my stomach for some reason. So X that one, and then got another one, and this one finally works. Well, because of, trial and error and all that stuff and going through the checklist, yes, it took a whole year to get to the point of me going from my pre-op appointment to schedule the actual surgery date. Okay, so my weight at my pre-op appointment was 262. So I was down 9 pounds, and my surgeon was like, girl, this is good. What you been doing? Well, I still hadn't been working out as I know I should have, but I did follow my doctor's instructions as far as starting to eat healthier. And I don't know if you're familiar with basically the meal delivery services like HelloFresh and Every Plate, and I know there's some more I can't think off the top of my head, but the one that I tried was Every Plate, which my sister recommended to me, and yeah, it's a good idea. To me, they're more affordable than a HelloFresh, which I think they're owned by the same company, but for some reason it's a little more affordable. So with that, they send you, you can pick out your meals. Well, they pre-pick them, and then you can go through and adjust them if you need to. But this helped me to stay away from fast food a lot more because it cut out some of the stuff. Like I wouldn't have to go to the grocery store as much, but I'm still preparing meals, but it's a recipe right there. And it gave us more options too, because honestly, sometimes you get in a rut and you don't know what to cook. So you're cooking the same things over and over again. So this was great, very helpful. So because I was doing this and eating better, then my weight dropped. So when I have the surgery, which this is Friday, it is scheduled for Monday. So when I after my surgery, I'm going to check in. If not that day or next day, I will check in at least the next week. So, and I say that because I don't know how I will feel or anything like that. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll definitely let you know what my weight is the day of surgery. Right now, so for the past 2 weeks now, or I'm in my second week of a liquid diet, because you do have to do a liquid diet prior to surgery so that your liver can shrink, and that's so it's not in the way when they're going in there to work on your stomach. But um that is, what was I saying? Oh, uh the liquid diet is why I'm dropping weight now as well. So like I said, when I went in for the pre-op appointment, I was 262. I got on the scale today, I'm 251. Now I will say, the prior to my liquid diet, it was like that week before then, I was trying to get in food like I was on death row or something. Okay, so I'm eating all kind of fast food, bad quote unquote bad foods. Um, yeah, I was eating. Okay, just because I felt like this is the end. Um, me and food are breaking up. Yes. But it's okay. So because of that, I did put on a little weight after my pre-op appointment. So pre-op appointment, I was 262. When I got on the scale at the start of the liquid diet, I was 265. So that being said, yeah, I've lost some weight. Yeah. I did want to say also, I did talk about me being sluggish and the fact that I had high blood pressure. I learned that I had sleep apnea. There were some other things that I have been dealing with from being overweight that I kind of just dealt with. And that's knee pain. I always have knee pain, especially if I'm walking or, doing a lot of moving around. My knees hurt. So at this point, I probably couldn't go to, like, one of those trampoline parks or whatever. No. But the last time that I went, which was only a few years ago, the next day I was in so much pain. Like, I'm popping pain relievers. And it was just bad. Like, I felt like I could not move. And this is something else I explained to my doctor, and why, she felt like it would be a good idea for me to see the bariatric surgeon, is because I told her, like, I feel like I can't work out. I can't do cardio because then my knees hurt. So it's a struggle to lose weight when, even if you're eating right, you're not exercising or getting your body moving to shed some of those calories. And yeah, it wasn't really helping for me. Also, I struggle with my weight. I would say for the past decade plus has been a struggle for me. I did put on some weight. I went through a divorce in my late 20s, and I did deal with some depression and put on weight then, but it wasn't a tremendous amount. Like, I have been, or I would say I had been, in my teens and early 20s. I was like 140, 150 at the most. And then after, going through the divorce, all of that, I put on about 30 pounds. I was at 180, and I maintained that for years. So, and that was gradual as well. I think I jumped up to like 160, and then eventually, as time went on, I was at 180. But that weight I maintained again for years. It was like all throughout the rest of my late 20s, early 30s. That's where I was. It wasn't until I was about 35. And this is after, having 4 children, all of that. at like about 35 is when I went through another bad breakup. And just, dealing with that and trying to get into the routine of being a single mom of four was a lot. So that's when my weight started going up into the 200s, and I was like, oh my God. So I've been on a roller coaster since then of trying to lose weight. I've done lipo on my stomach. I did lose about 20 pounds with that, gained it all back. So it's been a struggle. Okay. I've tried keto. I've tried, counting calories. I've tried different diets and nothing seemed to work. So this is why it took a while to get here. I didn't just, gain weight and say, hey, I'm gonna have weight loss surgery. No, this has been some years of a weight struggle. Also, another thing that I deal with is HS. And I'm going to put down below what HS stands for because I can never pronounce it right, so I'm not going to butcher it. But what it is an inflammatory skin condition that affects your hair follicles and your sweat glands. And this causes boils that hurt very badly, but they are in your, basically the folds of your skin or places that don't see a lot of air. So under your arms, your inner thighs, around your bikini area, under your breasts. So it's painful. It seemed that the more weight I put on, the worse it gets. Of course, because your thighs are always rubbing together. They're always together. So what air is getting there? So this is another reason, like, no, this weight got to come off, baby. It got to go. All right. So that is enough for today, I believe. But I just wanted to check in with you all, let you know what was going on, let you know what was to come. So I will be posting videos throughout my journey of the VSG process. But once I get to a point where I'm feeling a lot better after surgery, I will get back to my hauls as well. And of course, that will kind of come as, I guess, I drop the weight because I'm going to have to shop for new clothes. So I'll just show them to you as I get them. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, tuning in, and I will see you next time.